Live from New York, it's the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. Good to have you in on a Friday. We got a massive show planned for you guys today. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are you doing on this Friday?
Great. It's nice to have a couple days off.
Yeah, no, it's
great Thanksgiving, lots of football.
Weekend. Yeah, lots of football. I don't know about good football.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that exciting, really, but, it was good to have football on Thanksgiving. After you eat your turkey, sit down, watch a few games.
Yeah.
Really good. I enjoyed it. And to have the day off today, even better. I'm all psyched for tonight's show, though. Yeah, really ready to go here.
We got a good show. The Jets game just wrapped up between the Jets and the Dolphins. The Dolphins absolutely crushed Tim Boyle and that Jets offense. They barely put up any yards, barely put up any points. The Jets did have a pick six off Tua. Tua threw 2 interceptions. Javon Holland, the defensive back for Miami Dolphins, returned a 99-yard interception. He ran a total of 122 yards in that entire play, even before he caught the ball. So it was not a good game for the Jets. A lot of boos, per usual, though.
Well, deservedly so.
Right.
Tim Boyle is certainly not the answer.
I was surprised they didn't try to put in Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, why not? Why not give him a try? At least he has some experience.
Yeah, no, I'm not entirely sure why they didn't even
maybe next
try.
game.
Maybe we'll have to wait and see. But I do want to talk about this topic to start us off because I don't know if anyone's shocked by this just by the pace of it, but a Cowboys defensive back, Deron Bland, set an NFL record with his 5th pick six in the hands of Sam Howell in the Thursday game, Thanksgiving game. I believe that was the middle game between the Cowboys and the Commanders. The Cowboys got a 45-10 win over the Washington Commanders. Dak Prescott had a phenomenal game. Sam Howell not looking too good after what I thought was, I was questioning whether or not the Commanders could cover that 10.5. I'm glad I psyched myself out of picking the Commanders plus 10.5. Oh, yeah, but Deron Bland sets an NFL record with his 5th pick six. The Cowboys defense looking very, very good. Dak Prescott not being the turnover machine he has been in the past. It's been very, very impressive so far this season. I want to know, are the Cowboys legit? Is there an actual chance that this season is the season that they end their championship drought?
I don't think so. I think they're putting up some fantastic stats, right? They have a guy who's scored 5 pick sixes, Deron Bland. I got to believe some of that's luck, right? To have that happen 5 times in a year, there's a little luck involved there. He is good, I guess, and the defense is great. I mean, you look at some of their stats. They have a win streak. They have 7 victories by more than 20 points. That's pretty good, right? And they have, let's see, they've only given up 200 yards. In the previous 3 games, they hadn't given up 200 yards to any opponent. The Washington managed to break that, but they lost big time to the Cowboys. They have 10 games without a 100-yard runner a 100-yard receiver or a 300-yard passer this season. And Dak Prescott has 10 games with at least 4 TD passes in his career now, and 3 of them have come in the last 5 games. So they look great on paper, but they got stomped by the San Francisco 49ers. They can't beat the Eagles. So when it comes to the elite playing the elite teams, the Cowboys come up small.
Well, actually, that's what I was going to talk about, is because I found, so like you said, the stats look really good, and these are the stats. So the Cowboys against very, very bad teams offensively, they put up 38 points per game. They total up near 400 yards. The exact number is 395 total yards per game, and only commit 0.4 turnovers on offense per game. And the defense is right there. They only allow 8 points a game. They only give up 199.6 yards a game, and then they force 2.5 turnovers per game, and these are against bad teams. So we're talking Giants, Jets, Patriots, those kinds of teams that are pretty bad. I didn't put the Commanders in here because they're at least a decent team. These are records that are like double their win total and losses.
Let's face it, they got a soft schedule.
And not only that,
they got a soft schedule.
How about against good teams or against winning teams, might I add? The points on the offense nearly get cut in half. 16.5 points per game on offense, 301.5 total yards a game, and they give up 2.5 turnovers a game. What about the defense? Does the defense, that dominant defense, show any bit of life? No, not at all. They allow 35 points per game. They give up 356 yards per game, and they only force half a turnover. They played 2 games against winning teams. The Eagles, I believe, they forced 1 interception or something, like 1 fumble. So they only were able to get 1 turnover out of 2 games. So that's where you get your half forced turnover. But the Cowboys team, they're not even. They play a very, very light schedule. Their offense right now, Dak Prescott, we talked about his interceptions. I think he had 10 or 11 interceptions in practice going against Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore and everyone like that. And we were concerned, will Dak be turnover prone once again? And it turns out, no, actually. He's actually been pretty safe with the football. He has some of the lowest interceptions in the league. He's also been putting up big numbers. I believe in this game, if I'm not mistaken, he had about 331 yards and 4 touchdowns, no picks. PFF, this is the highest PFF grade since 2007. So Dak Prescott's putting up massive numbers. PFF's grading him incredibly. He had 68% completion percentage, 10.5 yards per attempt, 5 big-time throws, and no turnover-worthy plays. That's massive here. But I'm going to agree with you because the Cowboys, we don't know how they do against winning teams. It's kind of like the Dolphins.
Do against winning teams, they lose.
Well, I'm talking about no, fair enough. But the sample size, you always hark on sample size.
Yeah, right. Well, the sample size is they got a soft schedule. They play the Giants twice. They play the Giants twice. They play the Commanders twice. They played the Patriots.
Well, they haven't played the Commanders twice yet.
Well, they do play them twice this season. They're in the weak, except for the Eagles. They're in a weak division, right? Their division's weak.
I'm not going to disagree with you there.
I think they could get deep into the playoffs, though. I mean, they're not a bad team, that's for sure. They win the games they should win, right? And they haven't been able to beat the elite teams, so we'll see.
Well, define elite.
What do they have? I call San Francisco 49ers an elite team. I call the Eagles an elite team.
Right.
They lost to both of them.
Right, but what was the reason for the Eagles' loss though? Because it wasn't Dak Prescott. The offense played actually pretty well, and they actually put up some of the largest yardage that they have throughout the season. So I'm not going to put the Eagles' loss on the.
I'm not putting it on anybody in particular. I'm just saying as a team, they haven't been able to beat the elite teams.
But like for instance, for the Eagles game, they put up their 4th highest yardage.
They lost the game. The only stat that matters at the end is what the score is, and the score said that they lost.
Yeah, but I think you need to add context here because I think it's important. For instance, you could look at some of Daniel Jones's losses or some of Mac Jones's losses and say, why did they lose? You could just look at it and say L, just like how we could look at quarterbacks and say, oh yeah, Lamar Jackson has several W's. Okay, how did he get there? How do teams get to the win? Yeah, you could
make mistakes.
The end-all, be-all could be the fact that you're looking at L's and W's, but how do you get to the L's and W's?
With mistakes, generally.
Right, and so that's where you draw blame. You can't just simply say, oh, yeah, the Cowboys lost against the Eagles, Cowboys lost.
Nate, think about you bring this up all the time, the 49ers against the Cowboys in the
I'm not
playoff
defending
game
that.
last
I'm
year.
not
Two
defending that.
big mistakes by Dak Prescott
Correct.
cost them the game.
Correct, but you could also
Right.
say, they lost the game. But how do you get there? It was because of the offense costing them the game. I'm saying, you could look at the Eagles game and say, oh, yeah, they lost the game. How did they get there? Did Jalen Hurts outplay him? Did the Eagles defense suffocate him? Because the Eagles defense did not play very well against the Cowboys this first go-around. The 49ers game this season, I completely concur. The 49ers suffocated anything the Cowboys did. Lowest yardage on the season. They couldn't run the ball. The fewest rushing yards they've had all season. The fewest passing yards they've had all season. They forced 4 turnovers. So that's where you could say the offense cost them the game. The defense, on the other hand, you take a look at some of the defenses. We talk about 49ers. They lost 3 straight games. People saying, no, you could look at it and say Brock Purdy lost 3 straight games. The 49ers lost 3 straight games. How did they get there? You could say the offense was lackluster, plus the defense couldn't stop anybody.
Injuries are the reason that the 49ers lost the 3 games.
Those
guys are back now and they're winning again.
Right, but I say that the 49ers have the deepest team. If they really have, by the way, the only injury was Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel.
Those are two pretty big important players.
What about the defense? The defense is basically healthy. Fred Warner was out there. You had Nick Bosa still out there. You had Hargrave out there. Why couldn't the defense step it up? It's because the offense couldn't put up numbers. The offense
but the games, 2 of the 3 games they lost were very close.
But they couldn't get it done. You were averaging over 30
but it wasn't like the defense gave up a lot of points.
Yes,
against
they did.
No, they didn't. Against the Cleveland, what they give up? They lost. They gave up 19 points.
Okay, what about the
That's
other 2
not much.
losses? 22 and 31.
22 isn't that many points.
You were giving up 13 points a game.
31 is a lot.
13 points a game, and you were scoring over 30. You flipped that basically in the 3-game losing
looked
streak.
pretty good on
How did they get
Thanksgiving
it?
night.
Because they were healthy. But that's what I'm saying. The offense couldn't get going for the 49ers. And so what do? You have more possessions where the defense has to be on the field. The Cowboys, in this case, I'm not going to disagree with you. The fact that they haven't been able to beat the elite teams, just really meaning the Eagles and the 49ers. They go right now up against the Seahawks. I don't know what you think about them. But then they're home against the Eagles and at Bills, at Dolphins. I think a lot of people would say even the Lions. They're home against the Lions. That's the second to last game of the season. Do we consider? We're going to talk about it later.
So
the
schedule's
Lions.
schedule's a little tougher now.
Right now, they don't have one of the easiest schedules. Hell, the Sharp Football Analysis has them at the 14th easiest schedule in the league. So they're about middle of the road. Middle of the road.
But most of they've had their easy games. Their easy games are behind them now. They've got tougher schedule now. The Eagles.
The
right?
Eagles.
They have to play the Eagles
once,
again.
Yeah.
They have to play the Dolphins.
They play the Dolphins.
And what was it?
They play the Bills as well.
The Bills, yeah.
What do you think? The Lions are an elite team?
No.
The Seahawks were leading the NFC West at one point.
I don't think the Lions are an elite team.
That's interesting.
We're going to talk about that.
We are. So I mean, if we're taking a look at this, do you think they could even? So out of those 3 games, it's a 3-game stretch too. 2 on the road. So you're home against the Eagles, at Bills, at Dolphins. You're saying they go 0-3.
I think they'll go 1-2.
1-2.
Yeah.
Who would that win be against? The Bills, Dolphins,
probably the
or Eagles?
Bills.
Okay, so you're saying at Bills. So that means that they maybe could beat elite teams. But I'm saying no. Home against the Eagles, you were that close. Dak Prescott played incredible. I very well may take them in 2 weeks' time from now to beat the Eagles. The Bills, I'm going to need to see how they look in the next couple of games. The Bills have a very, very tough matchup this week against the Eagles. We'll see how they look. If they can come out and dominate and get the win, that's going to be interesting to see how the Bills bounce back, because the entirety of Josh Allen's career, at least recently with Stephon Diggs, just by chance, it's a lot of ups and downs. So I'm going to see.
The Bills generally play good down the stretch, right? The Bills
until
have
the
played
playoffs.
well.
Until the playoffs.
And then they
where
get
just
the
fall apart
playoffs.
again. And then at Dolphins. Dolphins can't beat. So are you going to say, right now, are the Dolphins or the Cowboys the better team? Because we talked about it before. It's the same thing with the Dolphins. The Dolphins can't beat good teams. Are the Cowboys a good team?
That will be a close game, I think, between the 2 of them. I don't know. We'll see. Was it at the Dolphins or
it's at Dolphins?
At Dolphins. Today, I don't know. I probably would pick the Dolphins.
You would pick the Dolphins?
Yeah, for that game. We'll see. Next couple of weeks.
I don't know.
Depends on injuries, too.
I'm not sure if I would.
You never know.
I'm going to try to bring up the point spread here. I don't know if I can if we have that far down the line, which I don't think. I can't get it quick enough. So unless does USA Today have the point spread? I believe they do. So they do not. Okay, so it's too far down the line to figure out a point spread for the Week 16 game. But I have a funny feeling Dolphins, since they're at home, they'll be favored by 1.5 points. So you're taking away
Cowboys have won
a point and a half.
13 games in a row at home. The longest streak since 1979 through 81. So they're not a bad team. I think they're one of the top 10 teams, that's for sure. Are they as good as the Eagles? No. Are they as good as the 49ers? I don't think so. Are they as good as the Chiefs? Maybe.
Right now, yes.
Maybe, because they got better wide receivers.
I would also say just their offense overall is better.
Are they better than the Ravens?
I would say
I don't think so.
they have better weapons than the Ravens do. CeeDee Lamb over OBJ or Zay Flowers. You would really pick Zay Flowers or OBJ over Rashad Bateman.
No, I wouldn't. But
So
I think
my point.
I think maybe they have an edge at wide receiver, but the Ravens have a pretty good core of wide receivers.
Rashad
Right?
Bateman, Zay Flowers, OBJ. You hate Aguilar.
I do. I hate him, but and Trey Flowers, right?
Zay Flowers.
Whatever.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers.
So how about CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks? You have Turpin. You got a lot of pieces there that could be effective.
The Cowboys have good.
I'm not
saying they have a bad team.
And plus, Mark Andrews is out for the season.
I'm saying I don't think they win the Super Bowl.
I think they could.
I don't think they get to the championship game.
Yeah, that's ooh.
I don't think they get to the championship game.
I think
the
Eagles
are going to get to that. I think the Eagles will get to the championship.
I think they can make an NFC championship.
The Eagles are on a mission, right? They lost the Super Bowl last year. They're 9-1 this year.
Lost to the
They're
Jets.
finding a way to win games. And they're a scrappy team. I think they're going to make it to the championship game again this year. Right now, anyway.
That is.
If Jalen Hurts got hurt and he was out, then that would be a different story. But right now, they look like the team to beat in the NFC. That'd be San Francisco against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, I think. Right now, that's what I would pick.
I have a conditional. If the 49ers are healthy, I'd say 49ers, Cowboys, NFC Championship game, 49ers make the Super Bowl. It's only if they're healthy, though.
49ers against who?
The Cowboys. The Cowboys with this team, with the way the defense is playing, with Dak Prescott not being a turnover machine, I would say they have a shot at the NFC Championship game.
We'll see how Dak Prescott plays in the playoffs. He's a little spotty there, right?
Depends on who he plays.
Yeah.
Because we saw him last season against the
He's
Buccaneers.
going to be playing an elite
the
team or at some point in the playoffs.
But to say that they won't even... So they'll... I think they're going to be out of the NFC East race. So that means they have a wild card game. Just like last season. Dak Prescott threw 5 touchdowns against the Bucs last season.
The Bucs were terrible last year.
The defense, Tom Brady was. The defense wasn't. The defense wasn't that bad. Their running defense dropped a little bit, but I'm saying this team makes the NFC Championship game. Just who they have. Deron Blaine he has 5 pick sixes on the season, and we're a little bit past the halfway point. Who says he won't get one more? I know he'll at least get probably 1 or 2 more interceptions at least. He's already said, so you're going to add on to it and increase the gap between you and whoever may be coming right after you. So this defense, and you got Stephon Gilmore over there too. You did lose Trayvon Diggs.
So you're picking the Cowboys to be in the NFC Championship.
I'm saying, I don't know if they'll make the Super Bowl, and I think if the 49ers are healthy and it's the 49ers Cowboys in the championship game, I would pick the 49ers. But I do think they can make a deep playoff run because this team is an interesting team. I think the major flaw in this team isn't the receivers, it isn't the offensive line. It's Tony Pollard being your featured back. Yeah. That's where I'm going to worry about because if Tony Pollard can't, run downhill, I'm going to be a little bit afraid. You put that means you put the ball in Dak Prescott's hands.
I think this is the best team that Cowboys have had in quite a while. I agree with that. I think they have a very good team. I just don't think they can win a championship with this team.
Fair. Okay. Fair. All right, let's get into our next topic here. So Belichick had a very, very interesting comment. So the Patriots are going up against the New York Football Giants this Sunday. I call this the Caleb Williams sweepstakes or the Caleb Williams Bowl because I would assume both these teams are going for a quarterback at least. At least that's what at least a lot of the fans want to discuss, whether or not the Patriots are in prime position to go out and get Caleb Williams if the Bears, who have the Panthers pick, and the Panthers look god-awful, if the Panthers keep losing, and the Bears don't like Justin Fields, he would go in number 1. But I would say that this is for the franchise, the future of the franchise, I would say, whether or not the Patriots and or the Giants will be drafting quarterbacks in this year's draft. The Patriots have won 1 of the past 7 games They've lost 6 of 7. Not pretty. Tommy DeVito had a phenomenal game last week, which a lot of Giants fans were not happy about because of the draft position. Belichick, throughout this bye week, was asked who the quarterback of the New England Patriots would be. And once again, I think he was asked this maybe 3 or 4 times. He gave the same exact answer. This is what Belichick had to say about his quarterback position. Who's going to be starting this week. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Yeah, I've told everybody to be ready to go. Hopefully that's what they're all doing. I'm not going to announce starters at every position or back or whatever. Everybody be ready to go. I've told everybody to be ready to go.
I'm sorry, I got one problem with this before I jump into the question here. Obviously, you're not going to say, oh yeah, defensive end, the starter will be. Running back, the starter will be. Wide receiver 1, the starter. This is your quarterback. This is the leader of your offense. So I understand if you want to say, oh yeah, I'm not going to announce all the defensive starters, or I'm not going to, say, oh yeah, who's starting at left guard? This is the quarterback. This is your field general. I got a problem with that. I want to know, this is an interesting question. Is this a must-lose game for the New England Patriots?
I think they very easily could lose. I don't think that's a goal, but I do think they're going to experiment, and I'd be very surprised if Mac Jones is the starter on Sunday.
Well, you're going for Malik Cunningham.
I am. Is he active?
Right now, no.
Well, that means he's probably not going to start because they would have given him some reps in practice if they wanted him to come in.
He's on the practice squad. He's still practicing, but he's not practicing with the starters. Will Greer is.
Starter. So maybe he's going to be the starter. I'm sure it's not Zappy. So it's either Will Greer or Mac Jones. I guess probably it's going to be Will Greer.
So you're saying that the Patriots quarterback against the Giants will be Will Greer?
I think so because I don't think they're going to start Mac Jones.
Why not?
Because he's played so poorly recently, right? He's played poorly. I mean, he played so bad, it pissed Belichick off so much that he didn't put him in for the last drive in the previous game. So I think they're going to try some different things. I think they, if they catch lightning in a bottle with some of the new wrinkles that they put in, then maybe they'll beat the Giants. But they very well could lose to the Giants. I'm picking them to win. They're favored by 3. I'm surprised, actually. I'm surprised they're favored by 3, actually. So I don't know why.
Generally how this goes, right? The home team gets three points. That means on a neutral field, the Patriots would be up 6.5 points. So they would need to win by a touchdown to cover. That's basically what Vegas is saying. The Patriots are a touchdown favorite.
I find that hard to believe, actually, the way how poorly they played. I mean, the Giants pounded the Commanders. The Commanders beat the Patriots, right? And it was a very close game. It was quite a close game.
Well, the ending, we talk about losses. Yes, the Patriots did lose. How did they lose?
They lost because the defense couldn't stop Sam Howell. No. And they marched up and down the field all day long. The Patriots hardly had the ball. And when they did, they were 3 and out most of the time. And when they didn't, they were turning the ball over. So that's what happened to them. And
we forgot about Juju's drop at the very end?
Yeah, right.
That wasn't about defense. The defense did not help. They put up, I think,
but the pass threw right to him and it went right through his hands, and the guy intercepted it.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is that when you once again we talked about earlier, you talk about wins and losses, but there's context behind those wins and losses. So yes, while the defense did give up probably its worst performance, at least yardage wise, the Patriots were right there to win the game, and it was Juju Smith-Schuster dropping one of the best balls I've ever seen Mac Jones throw. And they were driving in that game. And Mac Jones delivered, and Juju Smith-Schuster came up short. So it's not the defense. The defense definitely didn't help. A lot of third downs, Sam Howell was tearing through them. But
get off the field on third down.
They had a very, very tough time. Very
tough time all year long getting off the field on third down. They have good first and second down. Third down, they get burned so many times. It's been very tough for them. And they have injuries. They don't have Judon out there. That makes a huge difference. Christian Gonzalez, he's not out there. They traded for J.C. Jackson. He's been a bust. So I don't know. I think the Giants could easily win this game on Sunday,
even with Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, well, he played well against the Commanders last week. He
played very poorly in that first game against the Jets. Didn't complete a single pass.
Yeah, well, maybe he's found his rhythm. Maybe it takes a little time for a guy to get comfortable with the offense. He's not somebody who's been out there very often. This is his first try, so now he did well against the Commanders. So,
but we just saw the Commanders get smoked by the Cowboys. Is that more about the other? Is that more about the Giants and the Cowboys, or does it say a lot about the Commanders? So there you go.
I think that says it says more about the Cowboys are being a much better team than either the Giants or the Commanders.
Well, the Commanders lost to both.
Yeah, but I think the Giants have found, maybe they found a little something. Maybe DeVito has gotten more comfortable. We'll see how he does against the Patriots. I don't think he'll do as well against the Patriots because the Patriots generally have a scheme against the quarterback that makes it tough for them. So I think it'll be a close game. I'm not sure. I'm picking the Patriots. I'm not sure why, but I do think it will be close, and I do think the Giants could win the game easily.
Well, I would say this game is a lot about the Patriots' future, right? What are they going for? Are they going for the quarterback? Are they going for a weapon? Hell, knowing Belichick, they'll go for an offensive lineman or a cornerback. That's just how Belichick drafts. But I think when we take a look at who's the starter might be, because once again, Belichick's giving a no answer and saying, you'll see Sunday, I think it's going to be very, very telling. If it's not Mac Jones, they are simply saying it's not because Mac Jones is bad. It's actually in spite of Mac Jones because they're seeing who else is out there. Bailey Zappa, we know for a fact, is not the answer. Will Grier is a practice squad guy. And Malik Cunningham, a rookie, we don't even know what he looks like. He played, I think, 2 snaps when there was, oh my God, Bailey Zappe's third-string quarterback. Malik Cunningham, I think he handed the ball off once and got sacked on another. So we couldn't even see really what Malik Cunningham has during actual legitimate NFL action. He had a very, very nice run in the preseason, but that was preseason against backups and third strings and some even fourth strings. So I think when we take a look at this game and who's going to be starting, it's going to be what exactly are they going to be looking for in the draft. If Mac Jones starts, I guarantee it, and if he plays well, because I do think there is an opportunity for Mac Jones to play decently. When I say decently or even well, I'm talking about 250 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns, 1 or 0 interceptions. I'm not saying no turnovers because Mac Jones has 1 or 2. Generally, it's 1, but it's a big one. A big blunder, I would say. Usually one blunder. The Cowboys game, that was just a throwaway game. I'm not discussing that game is just pointless at this point because the Cowboys ran all over them. Several mistakes from Mac Jones, but generally throughout the season and even last season, it was on a lesser extent. But he makes one crucial error or just one really unfortunate error. So I'm saying 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 or 0 interceptions. I would say that's playing well. And that would mean, for me at least, that the Patriots should, because I've been campaigning for this for nearly 2 years at this point, I think they should go up and get Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what they should be looking for. They should, and you could draft a quarterback in round 2. Or if you want to do something shocking, instead of trading back, which Belichick notoriously is known for, you can now trade back into the first round to get that quarterback if you don't think Mac Jones is the answer. But when I'm taking a look, we talk about, I'm going to bring you in now, but we talked about, you mentioned that Colts game. I think Belichick, it was simply just, he let his emotions get to him. It's very unlike Belichick to do that. And he's always like, oh, I'm going to make the best decision for the football team. You already got rid of Bailey Zappi. You think he's a better option? Will Grier, guy from the Cowboys third-string quarterback that they released?
Will Grier's never had a chance, right? Has he ever started a game?
I would say
think so.
if Mac Jones doesn't start, it's because they're trying to see. It's not because of Mac Jones. It's not 100% because Mac Jones is terrible. It's more so searching for, do they have an answer just right there in front of them that needs to get more snaps. Bailey Zappi, we saw, he played a couple games last season. We take a look at some of those games. Heavy run game. He played effectively and efficiently, but it was heavy run game and a lot of defense. When you put up when you give up no points like they did against the Lions, he had a very, very good game against the Browns, but the running game was a very, very big help in that game. The Packers game, he threw for 99 yards and brought Rodgers into overtime, but we take a look at that entire season for Rodgers. It was a massive down year. So is that more so Bailey Zappi being efficient, or is that Rodgers having a down year? So for me, I'm picking the Patriots to win. I think this will be a close game. I'm going to talk about it later when we make our picks and I do my Harvey Hot Hand. I do think this will be a close game, but I just think the Giants, there's some injuries. The receiver core is not great. I think Sean Wade will probably be out there. Miles Bryant will be out there. Miles Bryant can't secure a tackle for the life of him. I think Tommy DeVito and this running game, the running game is where I'm going to be concerned about.
Saquon Barkley, you can't forget about him. He's a very good running back.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I'm terrified of is the Patriots' ability to stop the run. Because if you can't stop the run, then Tommy DeVito not only could just hand the ball off to an effective running back, he could also do play action. And I know for a fact that the Patriots, because for some reason their discipline has been lackluster the past couple seasons, they may bite on that play action if it's working very, very well, which will allow Slayton or Shepard or Robinson or any one of these receivers that the Giants have, Hyatt, to get open. And that's what I'm going to be afraid of, is if the running game is effective. But Belichick, we all know, he tries to take away what you do best. And now that for the Giants, that's running the football. But also, you have to add, even on top of that, Belichick and his luck with the Giants has been, he hasn't done well against the Giants coaching-wise. He's got out-coached several times.
Yeah.
So
he has a tough time against the Giants, both in the playoffs and in his 2 Super Bowl losses to the Giants. A bunch of regular season losses to them. He has a tough time against them. They very well could lose on Sunday.
I think I'm going to ask you, for the Giants to win, what do they need to do against
run
the
the ball well? I think that's it, really. If Saquon Barkley can run the ball well, then they can use the play action pass. DeVito doesn't have to be, elite. He can just be managing the game. Just like that's how the Giants won last year. They had an effective running game, and Daniel Jones managed the game and didn't have the turnovers. So I think that's the secret for the Giants winning.
In order for the Patriots to win, and you're saying, if you were to choose right now who the quarterback one is, you're saying it's Greer, or would you say it's Zappi or Jones? Who is your quarterback going into this scenario?
It's hard to say because Belichick won't say who's going to start. I'd say their best chance to win is probably with Mac Jones starting.
So we're saying Mac Jones.
But I don't know if they'll start him because they're very angry with him, right?
That is true.
I think they want to send a message. So it could be Will Greer. If it is, I don't think the Patriots are going to win the game, and maybe they don't want to at this point.
Oh, fine. Then conditionally, if the Patriots were to win this game somehow against the Giants, I know a lot of Patriots fans will be upset with that because they're looking to go get Caleb Williams. However, though, horrible last season with USC. The defense wasn't great, but he wasn't all that effective. For the Patriots to win this game, what do they need to do against this Giants team?
Stop the running game.
So you're saying defensively they
stop the running game. If they can bottle up Saquon Barkley, then I think they have a good chance to they have a decent chance to win. It depends though. If it's Will Greer out there, who knows what he can do? He may throw 350 yards. He may throw 4 interceptions. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So you're saying this game, either side relies on Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, right.
That guy behind you, actually, that jersey behind you, you can't see it on camera.
Yeah, it's the running game. If the Patriots can stop the Giants' running game, they have a decent chance to win. Whether it's Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Malik Cunningham, or Will Greer out there, I think they have a fair chance to win. Generally, they stop the run reasonably well. They can't run the ball themselves. That's been a big problem for them.
This season, they are 27th in running the football.
It's terrible.
They're 9th in run defense, which is good.
Yeah.
So they're able to stop the run, and they can't run it themselves.
Right.
Passing game is better. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but the passing game, ranked-wise, has been better than the running game. They're 22nd in the pass, 27th in the run.
Excellent.
29th in turnovers, though. That's not good.
That's pretty bad.
That's not good.
Yeah. And most of them, Mac Jones.
Oh, sorry, 23rd or 29th in interceptions.
Isn't Mac Jones? He's rivaling the other quarterbacks.
Josh Allen is number 1 right now. I think Sam Howell ties it.
Yeah,
Sam Howell's right. I think Sam Howell and Josh
Allen.
Mac
Jones right on their heels.
Right there. So who knows who's going to be the quarterback? I wish, as Patriots fans, Belichick would say something, but it's classic for Belichick not to say a word about, if things go bad. He stays pretty silent. But coming up, actually, the Lions they fell to the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving, the first day on Thanksgiving. It was a pretty ugly one. Jared Goff couldn't hold on to the football very well. We'll break down whether or not the Lions are regressing. Also, we make our picks for the remaining games in Week 12, and I hope to continue my winning streak for my Harvey Hot Hand. I'll break all that down right after this.
Whether you're just discovering your voice or taking your show to the next level, you know what the world needs to hear. All you have to do is say it. With Spotify, set up your podcast. Your food podcast. Your mindfulness podcast. Your never thought you'd get this far podcast. And watch those sparks fly.
I put a picture of the comment.
Drop the episode anywhere people listen. and find out who they're cooking with, where they're finding inner balance, and why they love your show. You're already a creator. Now you can create, connect, and get paid for your passion with one single free tool. Spotify for podcasters. Talk where the world listens.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. Good to have you in on a Friday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic. So, the Lions fell to the Green Bay Packers 29-22 in the first game of Thanksgiving. The Lions historically have been pretty bad, but this season with Dan Campbell as the head coach, they seem to have created a resurgence and are doing stuff that they haven't done for several decades at this point. They currently still lead in the NFC North, but with this loss to the Packers, their lead is shrinking to Josh Dobbs and the Minnesota Vikings, if you could believe that. The Packers, on the other hand, Jordan Love, his second consecutive win in this season and his second consecutive very, very good game. Love played pretty effectively. But I want to know, does this game say more about the Packers or more about the Lions?
It says more about the Lions in a big way, okay? Thanksgiving is the Lions' game, right? Historically, they've always played on Thanksgiving. It's a tradition. It's a game that they should be stepping up, and with the team that they have this year, they should have won that game. There's no doubt about it. They lost, okay? And I'll just read some of the points that I'd like to make about this loss that the Lions had. It's the second straight game the Lions dug a deep hole against an inferior opponent. Both times the result of a shoddy defense and turnovers. They were behind 23-6 at halftime. The Packers were shorthanded. They didn't have Aaron Jones. They didn't have their tight end Musgrave, and they didn't have their wide receiver Wicks. The first play of the game, the Packers threw a 53-yard bomb to Watson, and that set the tone for the game. The Lions had a good drive to open the third quarter. They cut the deficit to 9 points. They couldn't follow through. They had terrible field position three times in the second half inside the 10-yard line. The fake punt was a bad call. That was really, I think that was a Dan Campbell they could have been a tie game there. Right? It wound up 29-22. That's a 7-point difference. The fake punt was turned into a touchdown. I put that one on Dan Campbell. So those are my highlights for the game. It was an embarrassing loss for the Lions, who claim to be one of the better teams in the league now. I'm not so sure.
Interesting. For me, I'm saying that this game says way more about the Packers than it does actually about the Lions, because we kind of expected this. The defense wasn't going to be all that. It definitely did not help them in this game or anywhere near help them. What?
We both picked the Lions to win.
We both did, but I'm saying this game says way more about the Packers and Jordan Love, because Jordan Love had a huge dip about early, a little bit beyond the first couple games, and then that middle part, a lot of turnovers, a lot of interceptions, very, very low completion percentage, and in the past two games, it has been insane. Nearly 300 yards the past couple games. They have been incredible. Now, I'm going to preface this. They probably should have lost to the Chargers if Justin Herbert didn't have 6 drops. I'll say that. However, as you said earlier, a win is a win. You look at that, it says W right there.
That's right.
But I'll say this. We're going to have, I play this, I think I did this once before when I compared the effect of a true wide receiver one when it came to Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. It's called the mystery quarterback comparison. So let's begin with the mystery quarterback. This is Jordan Love in his first 12 starts up against another quarterback in their first 12 starts of their career. So for our Spotify and podcast audience, I'll break it down for you. Passing yards. Jordan Love, 2,879 yards compared to 2,997 yards. Passing touchdowns, they each have 20. Interceptions, Jordan Love has one more, 11-10. Completion percentage, Jordan Love has 60%. The mystery player has 64% in their first 12 games. Passer rating, 86.8 for Jordan Love, 91.2 for the mystery quarterback. And finally, win-loss is the same, 5-7 through the first 12 games. Do you have any idea who this mystery quarterback is?
Josh Allen.
No, sir. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Very interesting.
Aaron Rodgers in his first 12 games is very, very close to Jordan Love.
That's very interesting.
And it's the same thing we talk about. We talked about them not having a true wide receiver one, the defense being lackluster, the offense not developed great. Now, I think the Packers do have a pretty decent offensive line, but in totality, this isn't a team that could rock 'em, sock 'em, you all the way downtown. What I mean is that you got to be simply effective with what you got. And Rodgers, now I'm not saying Jordan Love will become Aaron Rodgers. What I will say, though, is, like I said, to start the season, let's take it easy. It's the same thing with a transition from a true Hall of Fame quarterback into a new guy. You know what you had, and you know the success that came with it. There's a brand new guy in town now, starting his first season with this team that historically, Green Bay was called Title Town for decades. Now you got to wait a little bit. Just just be easy. Ease into it, new quarterback. Now, people hated him, and albeit he deserved it because it was high turnovers, low completion percentage, very, very ineffective on offense. You just got to let him cook a little bit. We talked about it on Tuesday. We talked about a mock draft that we had where at number 6, the Packers drafted Jaden Daniels from LSU. So the first season Jordan Love ever started, you're just going to get rid of him? Are you going to draft his replacement already? Take it easy for a second. Let him cook a little bit. And now we're seeing, that might be a good idea because Jordan Love is right now on the path. I'm not saying he will turn into, but currently he is very, very close to Aaron Rodgers. So I think we all need to take a second here. Jordan Love, he had a downturn. He started off pretty well, then had a massive dip, but now he's climbing back up. We nearly had 300 yards in the past 2 games, no turnovers. They were able to run the ball pretty effectively. But this is the Jordan Love that I expected because what I said before the season was, can Jordan Love give you similarities to what Aaron Rodgers gave last season? 8-9, 9-8, and just looked okay. This is his first season starting the NFL. And I said, and I made a prediction, yeah, he can. And this is the Jordan Love that I kind of expected to see. And now that he's actually fulfilling on that because early on, he was pretty good. Then he had a massive dip middle of the season, like I said, low completion percentage, high turnover percentage, and now we're back. And now Jordan Love is back. So, for me, I understand the Lions haven't had a great, last couple games. I can fully understand that, and I'll admit that. They haven't had a good past couple games, a lot of yards. Their defense hasn't been all that great the past couple times. But for me, this is much more about the Packers than it does about the Lions, because we kind of expected this. The Lions aren't there yet. I would never put them right now in the case of the Chiefs, the Eagles, even the Cowboys. They're not, or the 49ers. They're not there yet. But are they in the conversation of the Bills? I think the Bengals, if Joe Burrow was healthy, I think they'd be close into the conversation of the Chiefs and on that squad. But right now, I would say, the Bengals with this season's version of Joe Burrow. I would put the Chargers maybe. I would put the Lions in sort of that category of definite playoff team, Super Bowl hopefuls. Not Super Bowl bound or close to being Super Bowl bound, but Super Bowl hopefuls. Could they get there if things if situations work out perfectly? Can they make the Super Bowl? Yeah, they can with the team they have right now. But for me, they're not a Super Bowl team. They're close. I say you got to build up that defense much better. But also Jared Goff turning the ball over a couple of times, fumbling the game away early on. So the the Packers get 23 points to their 7 or 6 early in that game. Definitely did not help. So for me, this is much more about the Packers.
I think they'll make the playoffs, the Lions, but I don't think they'll go very far. I don't think they're Super Bowl close.
Well, my prediction was just win.
I just don't think their defense is. Just win a game, maybe. Maybe they might win one. There'll be a wild card game, right? And they'll be a division winner. It'll be a division game, right? It'll be a division game.
But you're playing a wild card team.
Right. You're playing a wild card team. So they'll probably be playing one of the lower wild card teams. Depends on their record. We'll see.
Currently, right now, it depends on San Francisco's seeding. So
they play San Francisco. They're not gonna.
Right now, the Lions are looking at the 2 or the 3 seed, and if you're the 2 seed, you'd play probably Most likely Minnesota or Seattle.
That'd
They
be
could
close
be both those
games.
teams.
They could probably be both.
They could be both of
games.
those teams. At least
But beyond
in my
that, they're
eyes.
not going to win. I don't think.
Yeah, then you go up against the Cowboys.
It'll be a
or
big.
Eagles.
You know what? It'd be a big victory for them just to get into the playoffs. It's been such a long drought.
Well,
to get into the playoffs for the Lions will be a big thing. They got a 2-game lead still right now, so I think they sneak in there. But they got to play better than they did on Thanksgiving Day. And man, that's your day. Thanksgiving is the Lions.
Yeah,
it's tradition. You got to come up big in that game. I think it was a big disappointment. We picked them and we lost.
We picked them big time, and I mean, I said they would blow out the Packers. I thought this was going to be a smoke job, and it was a fall flat on your face type of a job.
Yeah.
So we do this every single week where we make our picks for the week. So we call this the Week 12 picks, where we each pick each winner. Now, there are a lot of games that have already been played. I think there's 4 games that have already been played, but these are the games that haven't been played yet. So let's begin. The first one, Steelers and Bengals. I'll take the Steelers because Jake Browning is the starting quarterback. The Steelers fired offense coordinator Matt Canada and replaced him with the running backs coach. This is Mike Tomlin's decision. Didn't talk about it with ownership. This is strictly Mike Tomlin's choice. So I would say, and I did this previously, when Antonio Pierce became the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought there were too many moving pieces for the Raiders to win that first game. This time, I'm actually picking what legitimately happened, which was the Raiders were able to win, and they look very, very good. I'm saying with the new OC, the Steelers, the offense looks better. I'm not saying it looks world-beating or Kenny Pickett all of a sudden becomes a top 10 quarterback. What I'm saying is that they'll be more effective than they have been recently. So what I'm saying is I'll take the Steelers to win and cover the 1.5 point spread. The next one, the Saints at the Falcons. Derek Carr looks to be back for this game, and we have Desmond Ridder regaining his starting quarterback spot over Taylor Heineke. I'll take the Saints to win here. I think the defense, now Michael Thomas just went on IR, and that is brutal for them. But you still got Olave, you still got Kamara, you still got a number of pieces. I think you Jamal Williams also in the backfield. You got a few pieces there. Jennings is out there. So what I'm going to say is I'll take the Saints to win. It's a very, very small point spread, but I do have the Saints winning on the road and covering the 1.5 point spread. The next one, this game was probably the hardest for me to pick, and that is the Jaguars at the Texans. I will take the Jaguars minus 1.5. I think right now the Texans are riding very, very high. At some point, they got to take a slight dip. Now, the Jaguars, on the other hand, they've been riding somewhat low throughout the season, but that's kind of the norm for them in at least the past couple seasons, where they started very, very slow and then they ramp it up towards the end of the year. They took a massive hit against the 49ers, bounced back last week. I say they continue that streak. I think this may be a 3-point game, but I have CJ Stroud. The light's very, very bright. I say it comes down one notch in this loss to the Jaguars. I do have the Jaguars beating them and covering the 1.5 point spread. The next one, the Panthers at the Titans. I think this is a red light for a lot of people. I'll take the Panthers to win and cover. Because I'm going to say this right now. Will Levis, the past couple of games, has not looked great. The running game has been ineffective, to say the least. Derrick Henry cannot run effectively, and Will Levis has been operating the play action maybe better than a lot of quarterbacks out there, and he relies heavily on play action. If the Panthers defense, which they have a pretty decent run defense, if they could slow down or stop Derrick Henry, it's going to be very, very hard to do. But if they could somehow do that, I could say Bryce Young could dink and dunk his way to victory. And the Titans defense this season, while a lot of people thought it'd be underrated, I'm saying that it's not great. It's not really that great. So I'll take the Panthers to shock the world, win this game, and obviously cover the plus 3.5 point spread. The next one is the Buccaneers at the Colts. Colts favored by 2.5. And I'm taking the Colts to win this game. Baker Mayfield and this Bucs team hasn't looked great recently. A lot of really unfortunate losses. You got smoked the past couple games. I mean, you played this past week against the 49ers. You lost by, I think, 14 or 13 points. It was a rough loss for you. Baker Mayfield played okay early on and was not able to keep up that prowess throughout the rest of the game. I'll take Gardner Minshew to win here. I think the running game with Jonathan Taylor will be big. I think Michael Pittman will make a couple of great plays. He was my favorite receiver coming out of that draft. So I think he makes a couple of big-time plays late, and I'll take this Colts team to win and cover the minus 2.5 point spread. The next game, Patriots at Giants. Patriots, we talked about this earlier. Patriots favored by minus 3.5 points. I'll take the Giants to cover the 3.5, but the Patriots do get the win. I think this is a field goal game. I don't care who the quarterback is for the Patriots. I just think this game's going to be close regardless. Bailey Zappe's not going to torch the Giants defense. Will Greer won't torch this Giants defense. Malik Cunningham and Mac Jones won't torch this Giants defense. I think Tommy DeVito recently has been playing pretty well. I think that takes a dip now because Belichick, the history says Belichick rips on rookie quarterbacks and very, very young, inexperienced quarterbacks. I sort of expect the same thing, and the Giants don't have a great receiving core. I think if Uche is healthy and ready to go, I think he'll disrupt that Giants offensive line. That is one of, if not the worst offensive line, at least pass blocking in the league. But I do fear Saquon Barkley, and I think he is the X factor in this game. And that's why if Saquon Barkley gets going, this game will be close. I will take the Giants to cover the point spread, but the Patriots do win this game. The next one is the Browns at the Broncos. Broncos favored at home by 1.5 points, and I'm going to take the Broncos to win here. I don't trust DTR. I really don't. I thought he was very, very exciting in the Hall of Fame game. He looked pretty good. I was excited to see what he could bring. He looked very, very good, but it was the Hall of Fame game. Now you bring him in against the first game was against the Ravens. He got smoked. He put up the offense, or I guess the entire team put up 3 points. And in this game, this most recent game against the Steelers, is because the Steelers have no offense. They put up 10 points. The Browns put up only 13. I think the Broncos right now are pretty good. Their defense has improved from their 50-point loss against the Dolphins, and the offense is playing pretty effectively with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, I'm more than likely wrong about my prediction of it being a trend and not a blip. It looks like it was a blip because I would say he's about 75 to 80% of who Russell Wilson once was. Seahawks Russell Wilson, but I'll take the Broncos to win. I think it's going to be a pretty big win for the Broncos here, but I will take them to win and cover the minus 1.5 point spread. The next one, Rams at Cardinals. Now, I understand Kyler Murray's back, and Kyler Murray couldn't really do anything last week, and I'm taking the Rams. Cooper Kupp, there was a little bit of a scare about his injury. He looks like he's good to go. Matt Stafford is back in action. I think this running game will be effective to help Matt Stafford. The Rams actually had a pretty decent win over the Seahawks. They won by 1 point, but it was an important win, definitely, to get this team back on track. So I will take the Rams to win on the road and cover the minus 1.5 point spread. A lot of minus 1.5s out here, or just 1.5 point spreads throughout this week. Pretty interesting. But the next one, Chiefs at Raiders. The Chiefs favored by 9.5 points. Now, I don't love the fact that Max Crosby might be doubtful for this game, but I do have the Raiders covering the 9.5, but the Chiefs winning. I just think because the fact that the Chiefs have 15 drives in the past 3 weeks in the second half, put up no points, and have given away the ball away 4 times. And right now in the second half, throughout this entire season, not only in those 3 weeks, they have 5.3 points per game in the second half. I do not love that. In the first half of games, the Chiefs are second in points per game, tied for third in total touchdowns, tied for second in total yards per game, and tied for and second in yards per play. In the second half, they're last in points per game, tied for last in total touchdowns, 26th in total yards per game, and 28th in yards per play. The Chiefs are anemic in the second half, and I think that's where, this lead that the Chiefs, I guarantee you will have, it'll shrink to at least 9 points. That's what my prediction is. The Chiefs do get the win, but I think the Raiders will cover the plus 9.5 point spread. The next one, a shocker. I have the Bills beating the Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 3 at home. I'll take the Bills to win, and this is why. I think the Eagles are looking towards next week. Next week is a massive game for them, and I think right now the Bills just had a great victory, which is going to be important over the Jets. It was a soul-crushing victory, or soul-crushing loss, I should say, for the Jets. But the Eagles right now, I guarantee you, they're not focused on this game. They're focused on next week's game, which is the San Francisco 49ers. I think because they had a great victory last week, I think they take one step down. The Bills fill that next step. It's going to be a close game. I do think the Bills will win, but I think the Eagles are focused more on next game. They're going to put a lot of energy into next game because they put a bunch of energy into this Chiefs win. And I think right now, energy might be a little bit low because you put a lot into that Chiefs game. I'll take the Bills to sort of shock a lot of people, show how dominant they are, beat the Eagles. I don't think it'll say that much because I think the Eagles are really ramping up for that 49ers game, which will be an incredibly, incredibly physical game. I'll take the Bills to win outright and obviously cover the plus 3 point spread. The next one is the Ravens at the Chargers. The Chargers have no defense. They have no passing defense. They're 32nd in defense and 32nd in pass defense. What we've seen so far from Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken's offense is his passing game has developed incredibly. Stuff looks easier. It looks more effective. It looks more efficient. And that's why I'll take the Ravens to win. And I think it's going to be a pretty easy victory for the Ravens as well. The Chargers defense is just absolutely abysmal. So when a lot of teams blow out the Chargers or at least put up a lot of points against the Chargers, I don't really take that much into it because the Chargers can't stop anybody. So my prediction is the Ravens win and win pretty hefty. I say they win and cover the -2.5 point spread on the road. And the final one is Bears at the Vikings. Josh Dobbs, once again, the starter for the Minnesota Vikings, but I have Justin Fields winning this game. What did I say last week? I said Justin Fields will keep it interesting. We'll keep it very, very interesting. And we saw exactly what the Lions did. They had to crawl their way to that victory. And Justin Fields played okay, not great. He played better than actually I think he's played throughout the rest of this season. But I'll take Justin Fields to actually get back in the win column here and increase his odds of being the starter for the Chicago Bears next season. I will take them to win on the road and obviously cover the +3 point spread. Those are my picks for Week 12. Your turn now.
Okay, let's go. All right, I got the Bengals winning. And the reason why is this is a must-win for them. If they have any hopes of getting to the playoffs, they have to win this game. They don't have Burrow anymore, but and he's out for the rest of the season. But they do have a lot of other pieces. They got elite wide receiver. Two really good wide receivers, and Higgins and Chase. And the defense is good. So, and the Steelers' offense is really spotty. And just firing Matt Canada wasn't the answer. That's for sure. It's Kenny Pickett that's the problem there. So, I think the Bengals are going to find a way to win this game. The Saints against the Falcons. They brought back Ritter, right? He's the answer for the quarterback for the Falcons. If that's what they're doing, I don't think that's the way to victory, and I do think the Saints will find a way to win that game. The Jaguars against the Texans. I do think the Jaguars are one of the top teams. They've shown it all year long. Trevor Lawrence really stepping up there, showing could be an elite quarterback going forward. The rest of their team's very solid. I like the Texans a lot. I just think they're up against a team that's on a mission to get deep into the playoffs this year, and they probably will, the Jaguars. So I think the Jaguars will win that game. I think the Titans are going to win with Will Levis at the helm. I just think the Panthers are so bad that the Titans have a pretty good chance, particularly if they're at home, and maybe Derrick Henry can get going in the run game, and that will help out Levis a little bit in the passing game. So I picked the Titans to win that game. The Tampa Bay against the Colts, I think Tampa Bay is going to win, principally because I don't think Jonathan Taylor is going to have a very good day because Tampa Bay has a very good run defense. And they'll have to put the pressure on Gardner Minshew. And I think that, Baker Mayfield's every bit as good as as Minshew, and so I think that Tampa Bay will find a way to win this game. The Patriots against the Giants. I picked the Patriots mainly because I'm a Patriots fan. I think they very easily could lose to the Giants. I think my guess is that Mac Jones will probably be the starting quarterback. I think Belichick is just getting into his head here and saying, look, pal, you're right. You're really close to the end. I'm not making an announcement until right before the game, and you'll probably let him play. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm hoping the Patriots do win, but they could easily lose. Broncos, I think the Broncos, they found something now. They're on a mission, and they want to get back into the playoff hunt. And they've won, 5 out of the last 6 games, I think. And that win last week was pretty convincing that they're back in the mix here and playing better. Russell Wilson playing well, and Sean Payton showing that he is a very good coach and can resurrect a team that lost 70-20 in a game. I think that they have confidence now, and I do think that they're going to win this game. I'm picking the Cardinals over the Rams. I think that now Kyler Murray's back, shaking off some of the rust. I think the Cardinals have shown early in the season that they're better than people thought they were. They have a decent defense, and I think with Kyler Murray at quarterback now, I think they can beat the Rams. So I'm picking the Cardinals over the Rams. Kansas City, prohibitive favorite over the Raiders, particularly if Max Crosby doesn't play. That'll be tough. The Kansas City have been saying all year the wide receivers aren't very good. They proved it last week. But against the Raiders, I think they won't have to be elite. I think that with Mahomes out there and the Kansas City defense, that should be enough to beat the Raiders and cover the point spread. I like the Eagles to beat the Bills. I don't think the Bills, they've been very spotty this year. Josh Allen getting all panicked and out there throwing interceptions, fumbling the ball. I think the Eagles are on a mission to get back to the Super Bowl and try to win it this time around. So I've got the Eagles covering the -3 and beating the Bills at home. The Ravens against the Chargers, I agree with you. The Chargers have no defense at all. The Ravens have a very good offense with now Lamar not only be able to run the ball, but he can throw it really well too. So I just think that's the Ravens' prohibitive favorite here, covering the point spread, which I think could be higher there at -2.5. The Vikings against the Bears. The Bears are, a kind of a hapless team. They're better with Justin Fields out there, and they proved that last week. I think this could be a close game, but I do think the Vikings will win and cover the point spread at -3. And back to you.
Yeah, so there we go. Those are our Week 12 picks, and now it's time to get into one of my favorite topics on the show, which is the Harvey Hot Hand, as I always do. For those who don't know what the Harvey Hot Hand is where I pick the 5 best teams that you should bet on if you want to make some money sports betting. So let's begin with the first pick of the Harvey Hot Hand of Week 12. Let's jump right into it with
Panthers at Titans.
Panthers at Titans. We talked about this. I'd mentioned this earlier. I do not think, with the way that the Titans offensively have been playing with Will Levis, really relying heavily on that running game, and it's been very, very ineffective the past couple games. The offensive line has been atrocious this season. I think the Panthers got to get something going. I think just with the defense, they'll slow down Derrick Henry enough for Bryce Young to make 1 or 2 big-time plays to push the Panthers past the Titans. I'll take the Panthers to win outright, cover the 3.5 point spread, and win 21-20.
Patriots at Giants.
Now, I have a very, very unfortunate record while picking the Patriots. So far this season, when I bet the Patriots, whether they win or lose, I'm 2-3. Not great. I thought I did pretty well this season. I went through it today. I picked the Eagles to cover the -4. That was right. I picked the Patriots to win and cover the -2.5 against the Jets in Week 3. Week 5, I had the Patriots +1 over the Saints. They got smoked by the Saints. I got the Bills -8.5 in Week 7 over the Patriots. That was a failure. And in Week 8, I picked the Patriots +9.5 over Miami, and that was wrong. So I'm not really great on Patriots picks, but I have a very, very I have a lot of hope that no matter what the quarterback is, I think just with the Giants, inept offensive line, the Patriots are going to generate some sort of pass rush to put Tommy DeVito in on that back foot, making some mistakes. I think Mac Jones, like I said, will play well enough if he is the starter. And what I mean by that is I'm not talking about 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Tone it down a little bit. 250, I'll even lower 230 to 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 or 1 interceptions. That's what I'm saying is a good game for Mac Jones, because the fact that we haven't seen a lot of great things offensively for the Patriots. I'll say the Patriots win, but the Giants do cover the +3.5 point spread. The Patriots do win 24-21. The next one.
Rams at Cardinals.
This one, I have a funny feeling that the Cardinals are not quite there yet with Kyler Murray. He's still getting back from that ACL injury. He's not putting up great points, not a lot of high-scoring games since Kyler Murray's return. The Rams, on the other hand, with Matt Stafford back, Cooper Kupp look a little bit banged up, but looks okay for now. I think the Rams is going to be a relatively low-scoring game for them, but I do think they just had a very, very impressive victory against the Seahawks last week. I think the Rams step up and are able to win and cover the -1.5 points, but on the road, the Rams win 21-17.
Bills at Eagles.
This one is going to. I don't love this pick. I'm going to be honest. I don't love it, but I have a funny feeling that the Eagles are not looking towards this week. This week is going to be an interesting game for them because they just played a very, very tough game, a hard-fought game against the Chiefs. It was the Super Bowl rematch. I'm sure they put a lot of effort and energy into last week's game. This week, I don't know if they'll have that same type of energy because next week, not this week, but next week, is Eagles playing the 49ers. That is going to be an incredibly physical game. This game, on the other hand, you could definitely throw it away because it's not a must win. You're not going to lose the NFC East if you lose this game. You're not going to lose the 1 seed if you lose this game. You'll be just fine if you fall to the Bills. That's why I think when the Bills, at least that's what I'm predicting, when the Bills win, people are going to say, are the Eagles regressing or are the Bills really that good? No, I think it's just the Eagles are focusing more on next week than they are this week. I do have the Bills covering the plus 3-point spread and winning 31-28.
Ravens at Chargers.
Final one. Let's go with this. The Chargers have a terrible defense. I'm pretty sure they're running 32nd in defense and are 32nd in pass defense. The Ravens, on the other hand, Lamar Jackson with Todd Monken instead of Greg Roman, who focused more on his running ability. Todd Monken has now developed a passing game for Lamar Jackson, and it's shown. He's been an incredibly effective passer. The numbers don't scream he's been a phenomenal passer. What I mean by that is 300 yards, 320 yards. No, 220 yards with 2 touchdowns is more than enough for the Ravens to win because that defense is hellacious. And I think right now, because the Chargers defense is so bad, I think the Ravens are going to put up a bunch of points. I'll say the Ravens win and cover the minus 2.5 point spread. The Ravens win 34-24, and that wraps up week 12 of my Harvey Hot Hand. Do you hate my picks, love my picks, indifferent about my picks? What do you think?
I think you picked some tough ones there. I think the Giants Patriots game is going to be quite close, and I think I disagree with you on the Eagles. I don't think they're a team that's going to let up. I think they're well disciplined, well coached. They're on a drive to get back to the Super Bowl. I think the Bills, on the other hand, are the team where the coaching is a little bit suspect. They fired their offensive coordinator. The guy and Josh Allen was like shocked. They didn't tell him ahead of time. The guy that stepped up to be the offensive coordinator is a very young guy. He's never had that experience before. So they're going up against a very good team. I think the Eagles are going to win that game.
It's definitely going to be a
Carolina beating.
Carolina beating the Titans. The Titans are on a downtrend right now.
Yeah,
we were on the Will Levis hype train,
but the Titans are at home. I would think they might play a little better at home.
You would assume that, but the run game hasn't been there the past couple of weeks.
Against Carolina,
I looked at it today. I don't have
the Carolina are good against the run.
Carolina this season against the run is not that great.
Yeah,
but their passing defense is 6th, so that means when Will Levis throws the ball, there's a decent shot.
They're going to have to run it. They aren't going to have to throw it that much because they're going to be running it well.
Yeah, no, but that initiates the play
action. And then the play action's going to be good.
And there we go. That's where the Panthers defense kicks right in. I don't love the pick. However, if the Titans could win.
It's a risky one. I think there were easier ones to pick out there.
The Titans could win, but if it's a 3-point game, I still cover. That's why I want to preface that. It's point spread. It isn't win-loss. It's point spread. The picks are win-loss as well as point spread. But for the Harvey Hot Hand, it's about spread, point spread. That's all I care about. And by the way, I meant to say this before I jumped into it. This season right now, I went 4-1 last week in Week 11, and after Week 11, I am currently. Do I have the? I believe I'm 60. Yeah, I'm 32-20-3. That's 61.5% win. I'm significantly higher. I was about 52% last season about this time. So I'm doing much better on my Harvey Hot Hand this season. I made a decent amount of money so far this season. So if you're following along, there you go. Those are my Harvey Hot Hand picks. 61.5% chance. I'm very, very satisfied with that, especially with the amount of parity.
We'll see how it goes.
Season. This season
There's a lot more
rough.
parity.
This season is going to be pretty rough, I think. This week's going to be pretty rough. I went 5-0 2 weeks ago, 4-1 last week. Are we on that downturn again? I started 4-1 for 2 weeks, then hit a massive downward spiral. I went 1-4. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I believe that does wrap up the NBA's tonight in-season tournament. Knicks Heat. That's going to be pretty interesting to watch. So that's on about right now. It's a tip-off's in about 8 minutes Eastern time. I'm sure I'll be watching that. We'll break down all the NFL games on Tuesday. But yeah, for this episode of the Harvey Hour, my name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are your co-hosts of the Harvey Hour. Catch us Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Good night, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.